You ever had eel pie? Was it eel pie?
I don't believe it was eel pie. I think it was like a chicken pie.
I remember I got tricked into eating eel pie.
It doesn't sound very good.
It's not bad, but it's not good. It's not something I'd ever seek out, and it seems to like be one of those things that people like consider a delicacy kind of thing, and it's like, why? We just stick to fish and chips, please. That's good enough.
So someone told me something's a delicacy, and I just kind of look at it and I'm like, why? You know, who decided that this was such an important meal? It's like that. Do you know about the whole thing from Iceland, like the shark that they bury in the gravel? You know?
Yeah.
And the bit on TV when Gordon Ramsay was like with James May, and it was like, all right, so you know the other boys on Top Gear, they think you're a bit of a pussy, you know. So we should prove to them that you've got what it takes. And then he gets him that shark, and it's been like urinated on and buried in the gravel. And he's like, all right, so any Icelandic man who can have a bite of this and not throw up, he's declared a man and he's no longer a boy. And Gordon Ramsay takes one bite of this shit and he just throws up immediately. Like he actually just spits it out, runs to the bathroom. James May is sat there just eating spoonfuls of it. He's like, it's actually quite nice, you know, it's not really that bad.
Good for him. Oh man. With those kinds of things, it's only really bad when you know what they are. Most of the time you'll eat it and you'll be like, that's a weird fucking taste. And then they'll tell you what it is and it's like, oh no. Like you get to the bottom of a bottle of alcohol container and you're like, I had a really weird like little burn to it. What the fuck was it? And they say, oh, look in the bottle, and you just see like there's a giant fucking scorpion in there, and you're like, oh. Wow. Now I know what the extra flavor was. Tequila for days.
It reminds me of recently I had Korean barbecue, and there's this one starter thing which was like sort of just a spicy sauce with like 3 different things, and one of them tasted kind of like meaty chickeny. I was like, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. And then I had one other thing and I was like, I wonder what this is. And it was just fish. It was like the fishiest thing I'd ever eaten. So it was like, oh, good. What's this? Oh! And it just annihilated me, because I don't know. Like even the remotest fishy taste just completely knocks me out. Seaweed is the worst for me. Something about seaweed, it just has that strong smell that I just cannot handle. I don't know.
Seaweed, yeah, has a very unique taste. I actually love all of those flavors, the umami kind of flavors.
It makes me scared to go to Japan, because apparently most Japanese restaurants are very fish centric, and I just don't want to be rude and go in and suddenly be hit with the smell and be like, oh god.
Most of the soups will have that kind of flavor of like miso and seaweed and everything.
Whenever I get authentic ramen, I need to ask, please, no nori, no seaweed, just please leave it out. And then it comes with it in, and I'm like, oh god.
I can't imagine that. I love fish so much. So you're not even a fan of sushi then?
I've never really tried sushi. I've had a little bit of sushi, but it was like pre-made sushi in a little plastic box I got at Waitrose once, and I don't think that's really the authentic experience by any measure. So I need to give it a try, but I don't know, something about rice and seafood wrapped in seaweed just feels like it would completely knock me out. I don't think I'd ever be able to try that.
Fair enough. I've seen a lot of people that don't like fish that do like sushi, because it doesn't have quite the same flavor. Like with fish, once you cook it, the flavor gets way more intense, especially things like mackerel. But yeah, some people could take raw fish, and like, especially like some of the sushis, like salmon and stuff, you drizzle them in lemon as well. Oh man. And then it's like delicious. You don't really taste much of a fishy smell. It's more of like it's just really, really light kind of flavors that just kind of melt on your tongue, especially if you get the right kind of salmon. Like it will just like melt in your mouth. It's so good.
That does sound really good. I mean, I like salmon. There are a couple bits of seafood that I like. I like salmon. I like squid. Sort of regular fish and chips, you know, like cod and all that kind of stuff. The kind of shit that you would get down at Chippy, I think I really, really enjoy a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah. Any beer-battered fish is just going to be good.
Oh, yeah. It's just those like really strong smelling fish, the kind of fish that smells like the sea itself, that just really not like just gets me, and I just can't.
See, I get exactly what you mean, because that's my favorite. I like the fishy type of fish. Like I think I'm one of the few people that might be able to handle surströmming because of that. Because my favorite fish are like I love salmon, I love tuna, like I love the ones that aren't too fishy that you get in like sushi, like very light flavors. But I love like mackerel with pepper. Anchovies, oh, it's so good. I love them. Those are like the super fucking fishy ones. You taste them for days. If you like put mackerel on a stove in your house, that mackerel smell will be in your house for like the next 4 days, and I love that shit. It just hangs to the walls. Ah, sorry.
Oh God.
I'm just sitting here describing like my heaven, and for Vox, it's like hell.
Oh God. It reminds me of maybe the worst experience I've ever had with fish, which I don't know if you've ever been to a Swedish crayfish party.
No.
Well, it was the party itself was an incredible experience. Like, it was very midsummery. Like, you'd sit out in this beautiful, like, very green garden. It's very bright and sunny, and they bring around all of this food, all of this like fennel salad and this crayfish, and then they hit you with, and you have to get up a little hymn book and sing these songs about how much you love alcohol, and then you finish a verse and everyone says "Skål!" and then you drink the aquavit. And aquavit is very strong, and I didn't realize this, and so I was like absolutely just downing shot after shot of aquavit because I really liked it. And also, like, being around a Swedish family, I wanted to prove that I could handle my drink, and this was the worst mistake I ever made. I asked the family the morning after, and they said, yeah, every single non-Swedish person who attends one of these parties throws up because they cannot handle the alcohol. And I, unfortunately, was in that camp. I drank way too much, and it just affected me. But the thing is, this was after I had eaten because at the time, I didn't really like fish that much, but I was fine with it. And I was there just, like, slurping the insides out of these crayfish, like, trying to peel it apart and just eating it. And I was like, I mean, it's fishy, but it's all right. You know, I can handle it. But it wasn't the same after I had thrown up and all of that fish had kind of left me, and then the scent of both vomit and fish was just stuck in my mouth. And for the next day, I felt genuinely ill with this fishy smell just around my head. Like, I just couldn't get rid of it. It was in my mouth, in my nose, everywhere. And so I was just sat there feeling so ill. And I think ever since then, I've just not wanted to go near fish of any description for the longest time.
I genuinely get that so much, because I think it was when I was like 22, 23. Like, I had a really bad experience where I got really drunk and ate like a whole fucking large pizza at one point. And it was like, to this day, I will never eat like a tomato-based pizza anymore, because there's something about throwing up like tomato sauce that just adds to this, like, the burn of vomit. I don't even eat like lasagna or fucking pasta or anything like that anymore, because it all reminds me of that experience of vomiting like 5 times and just tasting tomato paste. It took me a long time to even like ever want to have a pizza again. It took me like 3-4 years. Nowadays I'll just have like barbecue sauce based pizzas. Oh man.
Barbecue sauce based pizza.
I wasn't even one of the fishy pizzas either. That was a normal pizza that I threw up.
This man really had pizza ruined for him. I couldn't imagine that. I mean, I kind of get what you mean. Like, a super strong acidic tomatoey taste. It's not amazing, but I mean, it's a part of a pizza. I can't handle like pure tomato pizza. I think the biggest draw of a pizza is definitely like that thick melted cheese. You know, I really love that. And there's nothing worse than getting like a slice of pizza where the cheese kind of falls off and it's just pure tomato. Like, that shit stinks.
That is the worst shit. Yeah, you get that so much at like certain pizza places where like the entire thing would just slip, because if it's too greasy, yeah, all of it just like slips off when you try to peel off a piece, and it's like, well, this is fucking ruined. I want to grab it and put it back on. I have to grab it and put it on another slice when it's cooled down a bit, because that's the thing, when it's too hot is when it slips off, and you're like, I'm not grabbing that with my fingers, it's so fucking hot right now. Oh man.
You just have to sit there with this disgusting just bread with tomato on it. It's like, ugh.
That should genuinely be like a curse against someone. I hope the toppings fall off your pizza. I hope your pizza is cheeseless.
Dishonor upon your family, dishonor upon your pizza.